Let's talk about some more ethnic violence in this area in South Asia. One area is what's called the Punjab. The Punjab is what we would kind of call northwestern India, just below Kashmir, right next to Pakistan. And this is where the Sikhs tend to be focused, concentrated. Now, who are the Sikhs? I'm going to encourage you to go online and look up what Sikhs are, but Sikh is essentially if you take Hinduism and you take Islam and you smash them together and out pops something brand new, is the Sikhs. It's a little bit of both those. It's a completely different religion than those, but it's related to them at the same time. So the Sikhs they're not Muslim, they're not Hindu, they're just a different group, and they say we should have our own place. So this nationalist movement really kicks off in the 1980s. They said the Punjab should be ours. During this time, there was the bombing of the Golden Temple of Amritsar right here. So it got pretty serious. But one of the things that's really significant about this particular nationalist movement, which kind of flares up and then dies back down. It's been kind of died down for a couple decades now. But the Sikhs assassinated the India Prime Minister, the head of India, Indira Gandhi. That's a fairly significant thing when that obviously happens. So the Punjab is another example of ethnic violence in this area. Another example is if we go over to Pakistan. All right, so I mentioned before that once this whole area gets split into India and Pakistan, sort of the Hindu and the Muslim side, you're going to have a bunch of Muslim people who live in India and a bunch of Hindu people who live in Pakistan. So what you could do is you could obviously create little islands of Pakistan inside the middle of India and little islands of India in the middle of Pakistan. That's super messy. So what is encouraged is essentially, I don't want to be if I'm a Muslim and I live in India, I don't want to be in the minority. So I'm going to head over to the place where essentially I'm not in the minority anymore, Pakistan. So you have a bunch of people, bunch of Muslims who move from India into Pakistan and a bunch of Hindus who move from Pakistan into India. So it's just a massive migration of people. They just up and say, I got to go to this new place. So in Pakistan itself, there is sort of a two-tier society. There's the indigenous people, the people who have sort of lived in Pakistan this whole time. They speak Punjabi or they speak Sindhi. This is sort of the language that they speak. The group that has moved in to Pakistan are the Muahirs. Now, here's the thing about this. If you are able to pack everything up and move to a new place, you're probably not the poorest of society. The poor can't really do this. We're talking about middle class. So when this middle class, this large group of sort of middle class, they have money, come into this area, they make sure that they are successful when they get there. And so they sort of essentially come in and take over in a way. They speak the Urdu language. So you have this language division within Pakistan. You have this class division within Pakistan. It's not exactly a racial division, but it's actually not exactly not. We are the Muahirs, you guys are those guys. In 1995, there are riots in Karachi being the capital of Pakistan, where 1,800 people died, and this was essentially the indigenous people of Pakistan saying, well, I'm not really sure I like what you guys are doing. These guys putting this down. It's messy. And it's all goes back to that decolonization. All right, you're going to watch another video now, again, talking about what about the Muslims who are still in India? Are they treated with respect? Is it a tolerant community, or are there problems? And obviously, there's been this rise of Hindu nationalism, and that's created problems. So watch this video, and you'll get a good idea of what sort of is happening in terms of ethnic conflict within India.